As you may know, a common criticism that the Let's End Aid to Ukraine crowd has is that Ukraine has no plan of victory. Okay? I've heard this a lot in debates. I've heard this a lot in on panels. I've heard this from anti Ukraine pundits that Ukraine simply cannot win, that it does not provide any sort of plan on what would constitute a victory, and does not provide any sort of step by step process as to how to achieve it. And the truth is that such plans have been given by President Zelensky. And the truth is that one of the key elements of this plan is disabling the Crimea Bridge, ideally by destroying it, which would severely hamper the ability for Russia to bring over troops to Ukraine. And one of the ways that Ukraine could possibly achieve such a goal would be from receiving the promised Taurus missiles, which would possibly allow Ukraine to destroy the bridge. Apparently those missiles are strong enough to destroy the bridge, or good enough. I'm not a missile expert, but that is what I have been told. Unfortunately, as great of an ally as Germany has been lately to Ukraine, it seems as though, given the Taurus missiles to Ukraine is gonna be a problem. Right. So this article, we're gonna take a look at it from the political.eu. Things like that are disastrous, okay, for Ukraine. Stopping aid, withholding promises. Thank you, Rob Fortune. Berlin. German lawmakers on Wednesday voted against a proposal from the central-right opposition, Christian Democrats, that included language on delivering Taurus long-range cruise missiles to Ukraine. Speaking to public broadcaster ARD ahead of the vote, Defense Committee Chair Marie-Agnes Strack-Zimmermann criticized the Christian Democrats for using what she called a partisan tactic of tying the non-binding Taurus proposal to a debate on the state of the Bundeswehr and in effect setting up a no vote. That's unfortunate. Like, it is unfortunate that at-home disputes basically create a situation in which aid is not given to Ukraine. you know? It's basically the same in the US. Like a dispute between the Democratic and the Republican Party basically froze aid to Ukraine. Domestic politics of individual nation states become reasons not to give aid to Ukraine. Regardless of this evening's vote, a final decision on Taurus deliveries to Ukraine will rest with the chair of Germany's Federal Security Council, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. The Chancellor has demurred in the past when pressed by lawmakers with similar motions for Taurus deliveries to Ukraine. That is despite France, the United Kingdom, and the United States sending multiple deliveries of similar long-range munitions to Ukrainian forces. Earlier Tuesday, French President Emmanuel Macron announced an aid package for Ukraine that included an additional 40 Scalp EG cruise missiles, which are similar to the Taurus. So we'll see. Like, this is kind of a worrying trend, in my opinion. You know? I wonder if those French missiles would be good enough to do something to the bridge. Let me see if there's anything else on this. The Polish radio. Oh. Well, that's old. That's really old. That's an old article. This is an article from Let's go. Okay. One more article. Plan is putting Lucy in the way and no one would kill it because you're too epic and Ukraine does what it needs to while Russia is distracted. True. How are Polish relations going right now with Ukraine? You mentioned it briefly in a recent stream that there was more open... Yes, there is more open communication. Actually, that's going to be one more topic for today. Thank you for reminding me, Greater Rain. Thank you for reminding me. That's one more topic for today. So we're going to do a Polish-Ukrainian relations topic today still. That's going to be a thing. Oh gosh, that is nice. React. Yes. A motion put forward in Parliament by Germany's conservative opposition that called for the government to send long-range Taurus cruise missiles to Ukraine was rejected by a large majority of lawmakers on Wednesday evening. Nearly all lawmakers from the three-party governing coalition, Chancellors Olaf Scholz, Social Democrats, the Greens and the business-friendly Free Democrats were opposed to the motion. The outcome in Parliament may seem a bit baffling, especially as the Greens and the FDP have been pushing Scholz for months to send the missiles which Kyiv could use to strike deeper into Russian-occupied territory. Lawmakers from the Greens and FDP justified their vote with the fact that the motion by the Christian Democrats and their Bavarian CSU EU allies was linked to a plenary debate on the annual report of the Parliamentary Commissioner for the Armed Forces. FDP defense expert Marie Anges Strack-Zimmermann wrote critically in a written statement obtained by DPA. It is downright indecent to mix a report by the Parliamentary Commissioner for the Armed Forces, which is being discussed today and relates exclusively to the concerns of Bundeswehr soldiers, with the debate on future support for Ukraine. It's basically like the Republican Party that mixed aid to Ukraine with the border issue. The Taurus is one of the military's most modern missiles and can destroy targets such as bunker complex, even from a great height and distance, or maybe bridges. However, Scholz decided at the beginning of October not to supply this weapon to Ukraine for the time being. The reason given was the fear that Russian territory could also be hit due to the range of 500 kilometers. Strack-Zimmermann reiterated her demand for Taurus deliveries, despite rejecting motion, saying the weapons would make a fundamental contribution to fully restoring the territorial integrity of Ukraine, which is true. There's not much else to say here. Like, full aid should be given to Ukraine. Like, no half-assed measures. Like, this is what leads to... Like, this is... Crucial aid is denied to Ukraine, and then there are voices saying, oh, Ukraine is underperforming. Oh, no wonder. It doesn't have the means to defend itself. And still, it's doing remarkably well with what it's got. This is annoying.